You're listening to the Reflective Teacher Podcast, and this is episode number 15. I'm Selena Woodward, and I'm an English and drama teacher, university lecturer, and with edufolios.org, a big-time reflective practitioner. So how can reflective practice help you grow your teaching skills, fall in love with your profession all over again, and help you nail accreditation and teacher registration with less stress and less work? Well, this is the Reflective Teacher Podcast. Hello everybody, Selena here, and this week I've got a bit of a challenge for you. Yes, I do. This week we're going to be talking about the Australian Professional Standards for Teachers. I know, it makes you feel a bit uncomfortable. Those things, the hoops we have to jump through, the paperwork, what are they for anyway? It's clearly just a waste of time, and hopefully they will go away in the next election. I've heard it all, trust me. But you know what? Today, my challenge to you is to open your mind to these standards and begin to see them in a slightly different light. When I talk to you guys about the process of accreditation or registration and your e-portfolios, I can hear how the standards feel a little bit intimidating. And I think, honestly, that might have something to do with the way in which those standards are kind of around in the culture of teaching and learning. You know, let's be honest, the first time we often have to use them, it's something that's judging us. Right? At uni, it might be an assignment you have to do, a portfolio in an edufolio perhaps that you have to put together to prove that you can do something. Professional development hours. Again, can you just link a standard with that to show me that you've thought about that? I need to know that the PD you've done is appropriate based on the judgment of the standards. Finally, the accreditation process, whether that be for full or proficiency, whether that be for highly accomplished or lead for those of us who are heading that way, and that should be all of us, by the way. Again, the standards are being used there as a thing that we have to measure ourselves against, or at least that's the way in which it's presented. But you know what? I personally believe that was not really the intention of the Australian Professional Standards for Teachers. I can't believe that, because if I did believe it was just a big stick we were all being beaten with, then I would not have built edufolios, and I would have not spent so many years of my life looking and exploring those and seeing what the true power of them is. So at the end of this podcast, I have a challenge for you. So listen up, tune in, whatever you're doing right now. Whether you're running on the treadmill, trying to make lunches, whatever you're doing, I want you to give me your full attention if you can, because this is important stuff. This is about the culture of our world, our profession, and it's about impact. I'm going to start by asking you a really, really important question. And that question is, why on earth are you a teacher? Why is it that you give up your weekends sometimes, that sometimes you work in the evenings, that you're super tired, that you are prepared to make sacrifices for those kids who walk into your classroom every day? Why do you do this? Money? Probably not. I'm just saying that for fun. Look, I'll share with you the reason that I do this is because I wanted to make a difference in the world, because I am super passionate about English and drama, which are my subjects. I understand the power that being able to share a story, being able to use a language to get where you need to go holds for people. It is something that I am incredibly passionate about. I am not a grammar Nazi. That's not what I'm into. I'm into the art, the beauty of language, and I want my students to understand that, to unlock that and use it to their advantage going forward in their future. I am all about helping young people get where they need to be. And there's a whole story personally about why that is that way for me, which we don't need to go into, but why are you an educator? I'm fairly sure it's not because you have a desire to jump through hoops or complete paperwork that proves that you should be here. And I know that when we see the standards in that way, it gives them a negative power. They become far less powerful because they're about something that doesn't mean anything to your purpose and who you are as an educator. Nobody wants to use the standards in a way to help them evaluate in that way, to feel judged, just to do paperwork. We want to use the standards for a different purpose. So what if we took some time to think about those standards in a different way, to reframe that conversation? What would they be for then? The impact that we are having, to help us to recognize where our impact is strongest and where our impact could be stronger. I believe they are there to help us celebrate when we do something wonderful and to help us understand how we could be even better than we are now. And that is why I wrote and created Edufolios in the first place, because Edufolios helps us to do all of those things. And jumping through hoops and filling in paperwork is just the aside. It's the less important thing. So in today's podcast, we're going to take a few minutes to think about how the impact is shown in those standards, how it spreads across your career, how they are a tool for you to celebrate, to connect, and most importantly, to reach your goal of creating a classroom where every child gets what they need. So in episode 3 of the Reflective Teacher podcast, we spent a lot of time looking at the focus area descriptors and analysing their impact in terms of the language and what that could do to help you understand exactly which artefacts, etc. you would need. So if you're looking for that level of detail, head over to edufolios.org/003. Today, though, I want to focus on the big picture. What is the difference between somebody who creates an impact at graduate versus somebody who creates an impact at lead? What does that even look like? So let's start at the graduate. All of you ladies and gents who are listening right now who are training to be educators and are probably about to start a module, it's usually in the last semester, where you have to bring up a portfolio. Welcome to the tribe. Now listen, you guys at graduate, your 37 focus areas at graduate are all about what you know and have learned in your degree. Of the 37, 17 of them ask you to talk about the impact you have on students, but the expectation is that you are just talking about practicing something on practicum and you are learning as you go. It is all about being able to do something, not actually being able to do it really well. It's particularly in the classroom yet. The pressure is off you guys. You are just learning to put the training wheels on. That is the great news for you. When you get out there, all of you who are tuning in because you are ready to fill in that form by the end of the year and get proficiency, get full registration, whatever it's called in each state and territory, of course it'll be different. If you're ready for the next stage, then your portfolio of practice is going to be talking about your impact on your students. And it doesn't matter whether that is you as a relief teacher working with thousands of students every month, different classrooms all the time, whether you're a high school English teacher like me who has 8 different classes that you meet over the week, or whether you're a primary school teacher who has 1 class they meet over the week. It doesn't matter because proficiency is all about your context. Can you apply what you learned at university in the context of your school and your classroom? And can you show me how you're making that magic happen? Can you celebrate the impact that you've had on your students? Can you serve that up to me and to yourself and connect with that? That's what it's all about for full registration or proficiency. Then comes the next stage, highly accomplished. And at this point, people tell me they just go, oh, no. First of all, it feels too big and it feels scary. And there's this whole culture around needing to go on days and days of training to even understand what it is. It feels intimidating and it costs money to do it too. And, that's pretty unfair in my book, but that is the reality that we deal with. But look, whether you're going to go through that formal accreditation process or not, and I would encourage you to do it because it's a brilliant idea, brilliant learning for you. You should look at those focus areas because just as they helped you at full registration to understand the power of your practice and to celebrate what you were doing, they will help you to understand the impact you're having as you grow into your profession. So someone who is highly accomplished, and this will be many of you listening right now, even if you've only been teaching for 6 months, this could be you. I'm serious. This has nothing to do with time and everything to do with your ability to mentor and support others, not just your students, but also your colleagues. Because at highly accomplished, we move out of just our classroom and we begin to have the confidence to have an impact on the people we work with, whether that's an SSO or a classroom assistant, whether that's a pre-service teacher, a colleague, whoever it is, you are going to be guiding them. Do not think this is about time. It isn't. It's about your ability to impact others. And remember, that is why you're in this business in the first place. So celebrate it, whether you go for the accreditation or not, whether you put all the effort into ticking those boxes and organizing things in precisely the right way or not. Please do yourself a favor and connect with that language that will help you celebrate and also help you identify more places where you can increase your impact. Now, those of you at lead, this has nothing to do, remember, with your job title or how many years you've been working in a school. A lead person's impact spreads again. It goes beyond an individual or a small group of individual teachers or colleagues, and it moves to the site. So often you'll be doing some kind of project. You will have identified, for example, that perhaps literacy scores are low. And you're a science teacher and you've identified this. So you go do some research and you find out that actually there's a cohort of kids in your school who've missed something. Somewhere along the line in every subject in your high school, there's this problem. So you take it upon yourself to research how you could solve that problem. You might go to some PD and you put together a project to upskill a bunch of people at school, and it's a site-wide thing. The whole site is involved. Now you're a lead teacher. Now, one of my favorite things about the standards is the pay rises that come with it. And it's not because of the increase in the back pocket. Of course, it's always lovely to have more cash. But it's the beautiful, beautiful fact that they have recognized that some of us do not want to be principals or deputy heads or assistant principals. We want to be in our classroom. And if you are lucky enough to be in a position where you get the opportunity to impact on your site like that and have that amazing, powerful, wonderful celebration of what you've done for those students and your colleagues, then you get the opportunity to have a pay that matches a principal. That's right. Someone who is accredited lead has the same wage, if they're given the wage, as a principal. How amazing is that? The board, the government, whoever it is you want to blame for the standards, is trying to give you an opportunity to be powerful and have a powerful impact, but where you want to be and where you believe you want to put that impact. That is the power of the standards. So regardless of whether you are seeing them for assessment, I want you to stop worrying about that, and I want you to focus on them and their language, which you can learn about in episode 3, so that you can begin to see the power of your practice. So here's my challenge to you. I want you to tune into something that happened this week or next week whenever you're ready. Whether that be at uni, you learned something cool in a lecture or a reading, or on prac. A lot of you are on prac right now. Whether that be in your first years out, again, something cool that happened in your classroom. You can see some changes beginning in the writing they're doing, whatever it is. Whether that was mentoring a colleague, maybe you're mentoring a pre-service teacher, or beginning a project that's going to impact your whole site. Wherever you are in your career, I want you to become more consciously aware of those focus areas. And if you're using Edufolios, it will help you to do this. You're just going to write down, what you've been up to. And then you're going to find the focus area that connects with that. Whether you do that using the standards or Edufolios, up to you. Doesn't really matter to me. What's most important is I want you to use what you know about the language of the focus areas in episode 3 and what you've just learned about the impact and the way we can reframe the standards in this episode. And I want you to make some notes. You can leave this post in draft if you want in Edufolios. No one needs to see it. What language can you connect from the focus areas into your practice? And then here's the magic. I want you to tell me what you've got from that experience. So using hashtag Reflectionist on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, DMing me if you like on Insta, messaging us on Messenger, however you want. Come and join me in Facebook Live on Thursday. We're there. Come and tell me what an impact it had on you and your practice when you realized the impact you were having on other people. Did it give you more confidence? Did it find something that you were missing? Did it make you think about something in a different way? Because that, my friends, is 100% the actual point of the standards. They are not there to beat you up, and they are not there to judge you. They are there to empower you. And who has the choice over whether they judge you or empower you? You. You do. All right? Make that choice. Don't see this as a thing you have to do. See this as a thing that will empower you, support you, and help you moving forward. Next week's episode is going to be all about measuring impact in a lesson. In one lesson, how do we measure that impact? And I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide to showing that impact in a portfolio. All right, so we're going to delve into this deeply. But this week, I just want you to connect your impact generally with a focus area and just see what happens. This has been the Reflective Teacher Podcast, and I will see you again this time next week. Take care.